There's a glass piece out there that the majority of the time that I see somebody hitting it, they hit it wrong. And I've been on the fence about making this video. I already have another one touching on the subject, but the information just seems so obvious to me. Like nobody had to tell me. I figured it out over time. I didn't notice it right away, but the information seems so obvious to me. But just a little bit ago, I looked through over a dozen smoking tutorials, like how to use your piece, how to take your first hit, that kind of stuff. And most people out there are teaching people or putting out tutorials with the wrong information. Written articles, YouTube videos. I even saw a video from a CEO of a glass company who was showing people how to do it wrong. Now, I've already touched on this subject in a short, but YouTube flagged it and it's also a short, so I figured we could do a full-length video. I can't quite show you glass, so I'll link the short, but I can show you something even better. My amazing art skills. So I know what you're thinking. These drawings are amazing. How did you do it? This took me exactly 4 minutes and 20 seconds to do. The drawings aren't perfect, but they're good enough. Tilt your beaker. If you're watching this and you have a beaker bong tilted, if you have something with a flared base and the 45-degree angle down stem, tilt your beaker. Most people hit this wrong. So if you look at my amazing drawings here, this is the way I see most people hit it. They set it on their desk, they wrench their neck over it, and they light it, and they just get what I like to call pitiful percolation. The water level is just above the slits in the downstem, so when you have smoke producing, sure, it has a little bit of ways to travel, but it's only coming out of the top of the slits, or it's not getting as good of percolation as it could. The smoke has a short distance to travel, and it doesn't make as much water contact as it could. Now, when you tilt it, this is how it's designed. This is the ergonomics of your beaker. It's designed to be tilted towards your face, so you don't have to wrench your neck or tilt your head over it or go face down on your piece. You just sit there and you tilt the piece towards your face. It seems so obvious. But when you do that, what you do is you make the water line adjust. And when that water line adjusts, this isn't the best drawing, but when you do it on your piece, you're gonna see like, oh my God, the tip of my downstem sits so much further in my water, giving me a way more even percolation so that the smoke will come out of both sides and have a much greater distance to travel, giving me better percolation and a smoother hit. So most beakers are designed like this, where they have about a 45-degree downstem, and they're designed for you to tilt it towards your face and hit it. Now, I will say, because this isn't like super common information and not everybody is aware of it or knows about it, some glass blowers make their pieces wrong. And I've said this before, most glass that exists out there is made in China by people who can't even use it. So they're not even making the tools properly because they have no way of really testing them and knowing if they're good. So most glass out there is designed by somebody who legally probably could never use it in their life. But some flower pieces have like a little, it'll do like a tree perk in here or something. You'll have another perk in the middle. You know, you get all the little arms or whatever. And when you put that percolator in the middle, sure, you're adding another percolator, but now this one needs a level water line. This one needs a straight line of water. So tilting it, in most cases, makes that middle perk not work, or it works poorly. So to make the bottom perk work properly, you ruin the other perk. But in most cases, your downstem's gonna sit straight up and down, giving you that even percolation. Now, if it doesn't have that perk in the middle, I've heard people say, oh, just put more water in there. You just have a higher water line, which you can do. You can put a lot more water in there. I've experienced this a lot when you put like ice in the chamber. I don't do this anymore. I just made my video on hot water. But years ago, when I used to use ice, that ice would melt over time and that water level would just increase and increase. And unless you were just willing to walk to the sink and pour a little bit out every time more ice melted, you just dealt with it having more water in there. But more water, it does make your piece a little bit harder to pull. And then also with this kind of piece, you have the issue of splashback, because if the water's this high, after you pull on it, the water's, you're creating airflow, you're pulling air and smoke through. After you pull that smoke through and you stop pulling, the water's going to want to fill back up to where it was. And in a lot of cases, it just splashes back quickly. I have had many a times where I just had like a melted ice bong where I take a rip and I'm not being cautious. The water just shoots up into like a cherry bowl. Shout out to me back in the day when I used to corner big old bowls, but now I just one hit the bowl and I don't have to worry about it. But even if I still one hit the bowl and I had too much water in there, water's just gonna come out. It's gonna get into my bowl and it's gonna make the next one weird to pack. So sure, you can just put more water in there to compensate, but why would you just put more water in your piece so you can continue to hit it wrong? tilt it towards your face so you have the ergonomics. So you have that easy use. You don't, hey, I'm gonna hit my bong. You don't gotta do that. Just, all right, I'm gonna hit my bong. Boom, I'm hitting it. You don't gotta break eye contact. So straight tubes don't really need to be tilted. And I will say that not all beakers, like I mentioned the ones that are designed with like a percolator in the middle, not all beakers are designed with this in mind. I have seen some where they have like a really high angle on the downstem, like a 15-degree angle on the downstem, where tilting is not going to make that much a difference. And I've also seen some, you see how this downstem kind of tucks into the corner? Some of them, the angle points it to where the downstem really stops in like the true center of the beaker base, which that's usually wrong too, because tilting it can sometimes give you a worse effect if the angle of the downstem is wrong. So just know that when I talk about this is actually, it's true for most beakers if they're designed properly, but there's some of them out there that are just wrong. I don't know. It still works. It'll still get you high, but in my opinion, it's made wrong. But most beakers should be tilted. And you'll just know, just think about what you're doing, watch what you're doing, and then notice the difference in percolation. Is your downstem sitting deeper when you tilt it? Are you getting better percolation? But just another tip from me, be conscious of what you're doing. Think about what you're doing when you're getting high, and you might be able to get higher or enjoy it more. And I'm still amazed by how many tutorials, because most tutorials out there use a beaker. It's more common than I thought. I would think that a lot of them would have straight tubes in there, but I saw like countless tutorials of somebody with a beaker just like setting it on their desk and wrenching their neck over it, showing you the top of their head. And I'm like, you can see how bad the percolation is. It's barely occurring. Sometimes if you have the water level too low, when you pull, the smoke will just get a steady stream right to the air. It basically creates like a tunnel and it's not bubbling in the water anymore. Tilt your beaker and tune into my Twitch stream. I get high every night at 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. And here's the video of me demonstrating tilting the beaker. So check this out and then go try it out if you have a beaker, or if you're looking at getting a beaker or you've never liked them before, this might make you like them. Have a lit day, my dudes.